going on, everybody? MMA Professor back again to do my UFC 103 Franklin versus Belfort predictions taking place this Saturday, September 19th in Dallas, Texas. This card also runs concurrent with the Mayweather-Marquez fight, which I'm going to BW3s, and I hope they show both of them. I think I'm going to give them a call and see. I think UFC fights take precedent there, but I'm a paying customer. I'm telling them to turn on the Mayweather fight. Anyways, to compete with that, the UFC has decided to put some preliminary card fights on Spike TV for free. So I will be doing preliminary, then preliminary televised, then main card. So there are a lot of fights on here, so let's get to it. Rafael dos Anjos against Rob Emerson. Dos Anjos by sub in the second round. Vladimir Matyushenko, Igor Pokrajac. I hate pronouncing his last name. Igor training on a Krokop's team. Vladimir Matyushenko making his UFC return. The Janitor by decision. Elliot Marshall, Jason Brilz. Elliot Marshall by decision. Brian Foster, Rick Story. Brian Foster trains out of the Hit Squad with Matt Hughes. He's going to be a better wrestler than Rick Story. Brian Foster, TKO, second round. Nick Lentz, Rafael Oliveira, the Tractor for the win. Probably a decision. Weird nickname, Tractor, but Oliveira. Steve Lopez against Jim Miller. I was going to pick Jim Miller by decision, but then I saw that Steve Lopez hasn't fought since October of last year, and he's making his UFC debut. Jim Miller by sub or TKO in the second round. All right, now on to the televised portion of the undercard. Tomasz Drwal against Drew McFedries. No surprise that they're going to televise this. Somebody is going to get KO'd in the first round, and although McFedries has the power to do it, Drwal has pretty decent wrestling too, and probably better technically. So I'm going to go with Drwal by TKO in the first round. Somebody's getting TKO'd within 3 minutes of the first round, whichever way it goes. I would say it's probably 60-40 that Drwal's going to win. Efrain Escudero, Cole Miller. Cole Miller's a pretty good wrestler. He's got okay subs. Big step up in competition. I think Cole Miller's going to use his reach pretty well, even on the ground. And I'm going to say Cole Miller by armbar or triangle in the second round. Hermes Franca against Tyson Griffin. The quintessential Tyson Griffin fight. Tyson Griffin, meet BJJ Black Belt. BJJ Black Belt, you're going to get decisioned by Tyson Griffin. And that's the way it's going to go. Tyson Griffin, decision. Josh Koscheck, Frank Trigg. Oh man, Koscheck is the better athlete here. He's younger. He's more explosive. He's got the better wrestling. I'm going to say Koscheck by decision. Although I wouldn't sleep on Frank Trigg in this one. And he should be an underdog. He's way too big of an underdog right now, in my opinion. But Koscheck, probably decision. Martin Kampmann against Paul Daley. Paul Daley filling in, short notice, for Mike Swick, who got injured in the training camp. Daley was one of my picks in a video I did a while back. Fighters you'd like to see in the UFC. And Paul Daley is a really exciting fighter. And I wouldn't sleep on him to get the TKO because his nickname Semtex, deserved, very well deserved. Kampmann's too good for him on the ground. He's got good wrestling, really good submissions. You'd be stupid not to pick Kampmann by sub, as that's the higher percentage. I would say it's probably 90% Kampmann sub, probably 10% Daley TKO. Kampmann's better, probably a little better technically on the feet, but he just doesn't have any power. Junior Dos Santos against Mirko Krokop. This is a great fight. Very smart by the UFC, because you have Mirko Krokop, who's coming back to the UFC to try and make, let's be honest, one last run at the heavyweight title. And then you have Junior Dos Santos, who's this young up-and-comer. So whoever wins this fight propels them huge, into the title picture. So it's just good matchmaking there. Not to mention that it's mostly going to stay on the feet, and somebody's probably going to sleep. The reason, I've been going back and forth, and that's because Dos Santos, while he does have a lot of power in his hands, he's not technically that good. He doesn't throw a lot of kicks, and he's never faced anyone even close to Krokop. Striking-wise, he fought Verdum and KO'd him on the feet, and then Stefan Struve. Those are his two fights in the UFC. So if Krokop employs a good strategy, maybe throwing a lot of leg kicks, using his hands more, because Krokop throws a lot more straight punches, whereas Dos Santos throws a lot of looping shots. This is a close fight, and a lot of people thinking Krokop doesn't have much left. Man, I don't know. I'm going to pick Krokop by TKO in the second round. Krokop by TKO in the second round. Yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty even fight. Vitor Belfort against Rich Franklin. Man, most people that I've seen picking against Vitor is not because he's not technically better at every facet of the game than Rich Franklin. It's because which Vitor is going to show up. I don't understand how you can pick against a guy because you think he's just going to be a hot and cold fighter. Yes, he has been. He has fought well above. He's fought at heavyweight, which he was just way too grossly muscled. 205 and now 185, which I think is his weight class. If you watched Countdown to 103, they did a pretty good job of portraying what actually was causing Belfort to be a hot and cold fighter. He didn't have proper training. People didn't he was just this raw talent who was going and using his vastly superior athleticism and beating people. So now that he's training in Extreme Couture, focus on fighting, he understands that he's been hot and cold in the past, and that he's coming back to cement his legacy as one of the best fighters ever. And the fact that he at times was only fighting once a year, he hasn't had a lot of fights. So at 32 right now, he's in his prime, which is a scary thought. And training under Randy Couture as his mentor, and him being able to mold Vitor and mentally improve his game. I'm not saying that Franklin isn't, because Franklin, that's all the dude does is fight tough guys. That's it. That's all he does. He's good at everything. Belfort, he's quicker. He's got more power in his hands. Better boxing. He's better on the ground. This fight is mostly going to stay standing. Franklin throws a lot of looping shots again. Belfort straight. Vitor Belfort by TKO in the late first, early second round. And it's kind of a, I might be going out on a limb there, but I just think Belfort is, he understands what's at stake now, and he understands what he's fighting for, and he's a scary dude right now, I think, at 185. This is at 195. I'm not going to make much of a difference. Belfort by brutally TKOing Franklin. Like I said, end of the first, early second. those are my picks for it. And probably won't be back. I'm celebrating my birthday as well that day. So, yeah. I'm not going to get in until very, very, very late. So I might do a review on late Sunday, maybe Monday. And yeah, that's it. Hope everybody enjoys Ultimate Fight Night tonight. I will be at work, so I'll miss part of it, which sucks. But then, Ultimate Fighter 10, man, I am so pumped for this season. I haven't been this pumped for a season since 2, probably, because 1 was so awesome, and then it disappointed me. But this season is not going to disappoint. Heavyweights. Gotta love heavyweights. It's going to be a lot of finishes, I think. You guys, stay metal. Later.